Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. These are the words of the man we're about to delve into, Steve Jobs. Born in 1955, Steve was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs, two individuals whose love and support would form the bedrock of his character. Paul, a machinist and handyman, ignited Steve's interest in electronics. He turned their garage into a workshop where they would tinker with gadgets, unknowingly laying the foundation for a future tech titan. School was a different story for Steve. He was an intelligent but disengaged student. His curiosity was outside the traditional academic realm, leading him on a path less traveled. In 1969, destiny introduced Steve to another Steve, Steve Wozniak. This meeting, facilitated by a mutual friend, was the pivotal moment that would set the wheels in motion for a technological revolution. And so began the journey of a young man who would go on to change the world. From a garage in Los Altos, the world was about to be revolutionized. In the heart of Silicon Valley, a young Steve Jobs teamed up with his friends Steve Wozniak and Ronald Wayne to give birth to Apple Computer Inc. in the year 1976. It was an ambitious venture, sparked by a shared vision of personal computing for everyone. Their first product, the Apple I, was a modest success. But it was the Apple II, introduced a year later, that truly put Apple on the map. With its graphical user interface and expandability, the Apple II was not just a computer, it was a symbol of a new era. Apple's success skyrocketed. It wasn't just a company anymore. It was a key player in the industry, shaping the future of technology. And all this, from the humble beginnings in a suburban garage. The apple was planted, and it was growing faster than anyone could have predicted. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. Steve Jobs. This quote perfectly encapsulates the tumultuous period Steve Jobs endured after his exit from Apple in 1985. This departure was the result of power struggles within the company he had co-founded just 9 years earlier. In the wilderness of the corporate world, Jobs didn't lose faith, but channeled his energies into founding Next Inc., a computer platform development company. The story also takes an intriguing turn when Jobs acquired Pixar from George Lucas. This venture into the world of animation was risky, but Jobs' relentless drive for innovation paid off with the resounding success of Toy Story, the first entirely computer-animated feature film. This wilderness period, though fraught with challenges and uncertainties, was far from a sterile desert. In fact, it was fertile ground for Jobs' creativity and entrepreneurial spirit, culminating in his triumphant return to Apple in 1997. The wilderness years were tough, but they set the stage for a grand comeback. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Steve Jobs. This sentiment was never truer than when Steve Jobs made his triumphant return to Apple in 1997. The company was on the brink of bankruptcy, but Jobs, ever the visionary, saw a future others couldn't. He introduced a slew of groundbreaking products that not only saved Apple, but also reshaped our way of living. First there was the iMac, a beacon of design and functionality. Then came the iPod, turning music into a pocket-sized commodity. The iPhone, a revolutionary device, transformed the cell phone into a digital Swiss Army knife. And lastly, the iPad, a tablet that made technology even more personal and accessible. Jobs' leadership style, demanding, perfectionist yet profoundly visionary, left an indelible impact on the tech industry. Steve Jobs didn't just return to Apple, he revolutionized it. Remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. Steve Jobs. This profound quote took on a deeper meaning as Jobs courageously battled pancreatic cancer. Despite the immense personal challenge, he continued to innovate and inspire until his resignation as Apple's CEO in 2011. Just months later, the world lost this visionary leader. The global reaction was a testament to his influence. From Silicon Valley to Shanghai, people mourned the loss of a man who had so dramatically shaped the landscape of technology. But as we know, death is not the end. Jobs' legacy lives on, not only in the sleek devices that bear the Apple logo, but also in the spirit of entrepreneurship he embodied. His relentless pursuit of perfection, his ability to think differently, has forever altered how we interact with technology. Steve Jobs left us, but his legacy continues to shape our lives in the world.